Okay, so yeah, I'm in my car today, as you can see, because the last 2 weeks have been in recording because I was traveling and now I'm back. But just the way the schedule went today, I couldn't actually make it back to my office, and so I did not want to do another recording for you guys. I wanted to be here live. So today we're talking about hydration and the inflammation that can come when you're not hydrated, and also it can affect it either way, right? The lack of hydration can increase your inflammation, and inflammation that's there can help or can hinder your hydration. So just drinking enough water is not necessarily enough. Yes, we need to drink water. And if you're wondering how much, ladies, aim for 2 to 3 liters per day. Gents, you guys need 3 to 4 liters a day. Now, that can shift and change. If you are working hard all day, if you are outside in the heat, especially, you make sure that you add more, okay? Um, because you're going to need it, honestly. And then, but still, we have to think about that basic amount. Even when we head into winter, it's really easy. Like when we head into fall and winter, it's really, really easy or easier to remember to drink when it's hot, right? Because we'll just are like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot, I just need a drink. But when it's not prompting us that way, a lot of times we forget, and then those other substitutions come in. So basically, a good rule of thumb. Here's a couple of things that you can look at is, and along with that amount of water, you need to be drinking more water than anything else you're drinking. Okay. So if you're drinking more coffee than water, and if you're drinking coffee first thing in the morning, it's going to spike your blood sugar, whether you have cream in it or sugar in it, whatever. Some people say, oh, yeah, I can take the sugar out. I'll just have it black. Black coffee spikes your blood sugar. That's for another, like it all does, but that's for another call. Anyway, starting the day with water to hydrate yourself, because your body is excreting things at night. It's when everything gets cleaned. It's like your housekeeping. You're sleeping, your body's doing the housekeeping, flushing out, letting go of toxins, letting go of fats, trying to sweep it out. So, and you want to wake up and have some water in the morning first. Room temperature or warm or even a hot cup of water or whatever, or an herbal tea is even better, because if your body's also releasing fats, think about this. If you're, say you got a frying pan and you're, sauteing some meat and there's a bit of fat in there, what happens if you put cold water in there? That kind of congeals, right? Makes it a little bit more difficult to flush that out. Whereas if you had hot water, it just continues to flush right out, right? Okay. There we go. So that's a little bit about that. But now, along with the inflammation, so let me just grab my notes here so I don't miss, whoops, so I don't miss anything. Alrighty here. So yeah, we're on this inflammation series, right? So with our 6 plates, let's just go there first, because if this is your first one that you're joining um, in First Wednesday live coaching, then you probably haven't seen this before. So here's our 6 plates. Plates because food is always where we start. Food is our foundation, but inflammation can affect all of these things, all of our nutrition, how it absorbs and how we're eating it, our exercise, our sleep, how we're managing our stress, our water that we're talking about today, and how we're filling our nutritional gaps, and the reverse of all of those, right? So nutrition or lack thereof will increase your inflammation. Exercise, the wrong type, will cause inflammation. If you're not sleeping well, your body's inflamed. Water. Okay, so all the things, right? You get the idea. This is where we're at today. We're talking about hydration and inflammation. All right, so simply, we touched on that. Simply just drinking enough water um, is not necessary. It's a good way to start. But if you are feeling, so I'm not saying that you're dehydrated just because you're even though you're drinking that. So a good rule of thumb is are you drinking the 2 to 3 liters if you're a woman, 3 to 4 liters if you're a man every day? Do you drink more water than anything else? And when you're going to the bathroom, sorry, yeah, we do talk about bathroom here sometimes. When you're going to the bathroom, you want to have, when you urinate, you want to have it lightly colored, like very light or even zero color. If it's really dark yellow, orange, anything like that, you are dehydrated. You're not getting enough liquid in there. Okay, you're dehydrated. So you want to take, those are really easy things you can take a look at. The other one is a pinch test on your skin. So if you pull up your skin and if I let go and it stays there, then I know that I'm dehydrated. See, it went right down, right? You pinch it up and it pops right down. That means I'm hydrated. I've been drinking water all morning. I think I'm on my third cup. So actually my water bottle is kind of holding up my my computer, but I have it with me. Um, all right. So excuse me. So if just drinking more, um, all of us would already feel better, have more clarity, look less puffy. But if you're still feeling puffy at certain times of the day, or you're feeling tired, you're having some brain fog, you're maybe headachy. If you get headachy on and off, water, good one. You know, it's a good one to go to right away. Sometimes also, if you're hungry and you're thinking, but I just ate, you know, and you look back, you say, no, I ate all my PFCs and I'm pretty sure I got enough. Why am I feeling hungry? Being dehydrated can give a false hunger signal as well. Okay. So try with some water first. Give it about 10 minutes. And if you're still hungry, you probably miscalculated and you probably didn't eat enough, or you ate enough for what you did regularly, but maybe you did more that day. Like, so maybe you had oh, crazy calls coming in. Um, so maybe you were working harder outside. Maybe you were awake longer that day. Maybe, you know, you did an extra hard workout or something like that, right? So there's all of these factors, but take a look at that. Okay. So hydration is so much more than just about the water you drink. It's about how well the water is being absorbed when you do take it in, whether it's actually calming the inflammation or making it worse. Um, so if you have inflammation or anything that is like that has itis at the end, or if you have a disease, or if you're on a medication for something, if you're stressed, if you're carrying extra weight, if you're not sleeping well, you have inflammation. Now, just to preface that also, everybody has inflammation. You cannot get rid of all of it. It's impossible, because in our world, there are things that cause inflammation, right? Like, you know, pesticides on our food and the environmental toxins that we're floating around in the air, and all the different things, right? You eat out in a restaurant, you don't know what's in the food. Maybe there's seed oils, they cause inflammation. So there's a whole bunch of factors that we can't control, but some of them that we can definitely control. And that's what we do here with our approach, but also looking at specifics, right? So, so one drives the other. If you're inflamed, like I said, your cells become less efficient at pulling in the water and absorbing it. So your cells, think of your cells like a grape, like a nice green, juicy grape. And when you bite into it, it's squirts in your mouth and it's crispy, right? And it feels really good, and it's very juicy. Well, when we're dehydrated, what happens to raisin or to grapes when they get dehydrated? I gave it away. It's a raisin, right? So be grape, not a raisin, I would tell. So your tissues can swell when you have inflammation in your body, but your cells are still staying thirsty. So if you're feeling bloated, puffy, you have dry skin, the joint pain, the brain fog, your skin's not going down. It needs to be about hydration. So why is your body not absorbing? And so we have to target getting rid of inflammation so that your body will actually bring it in. Gut health is another thing. 70% of our health comes from our gut. And so, including, you know, it's totally affecting the inflammation. If the lining of your gut is leaky, if you have a leaky gut, and a lot of those symptoms like weight gain, inability to lose weight, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, it can, all the metabolic diseases, heart disease, stroke, cancer, Alzheimer's, they're all affected by what's going on in the gut. And so fixing that helps to then bring down internal inflammation. So there's a lot of each one of those six plates, we can when we're effectively targeting, we can bring down some inflammation. And then as we're adding more water, or at least consuming, if we were consuming enough to before, continuing to consume that, then instead of, you know, drinking enough and being still dehydrated, it's going to come up here, or not drinking enough and being dehydrated, it's going to rise up and it's going to be more imbalanced. Okay. Also, menopause and perimenopause makes staying hydrated even more complicated. So as estrogen declines, Estrogen helps to regulate fluid balance in your body. It helps to regulate protein and other things like that as well too, and blood sugar and inflammation. It also helps with inflammation. So to regulate inflammation. So you'll notice sometimes that it takes longer to recover from things, and the pain lasts longer when you have an injury and things like that. Well, if it's declining, you have less of that in there to support your body, and so there needs to be some again support in that area as well too. And that comes from balance because there's a lot of hormones in again in the gut that are there that when we can activate so that they can release what we're holding, even though the body's producing a little bit less, oftentimes it's holding on to some too. So when we can release that, put that in play in your body, you get some results. So then but as your ability, as that estrogen decreases, if we're not doing anything to help bring our body into balance and regulate and get rid of that inflammation, you might notice so you might notice things like the dry eyes, the dry skin, brittle hair, a crash in the afternoon, things like that. Your brain just kind of stops cooperating, right? So some of these things also overlap with our blood sugar balance, right? If you we talked about that on the nutrition, and that makes total sense because when your blood sugar is out of balance, your body's fighting to bring it back in. Anytime you're fighting, you're creating inflammation, right? So as you can see, all of these things are so interconnected and joined together. It's not like, oh, this is one hard and fast thing over here, and this is one hard and fast thing over here. No, they're all interconnected. It's like a very intricate blanket woven or a puzzle or something like that. So, excuse me. So that's the hormone part. It's not just your hormones, it's hydration. So making sure that you're putting in enough to support what's already there and then targeting the inflammation to help release the extra that your body's holding on to so it can effectively and optimize what you do have. Okay. Your cells rely on water. So water is part of every function that our body does for our body and our brain, especially in the brain. So think about this. If what's okay, a downed power line. Have you ever seen in a storm or on a movie or something, there's a power line that comes down and it's been raining, right? It's always been raining when there's a storm. And there's like a puddle. And then there's like across the parking lot, there's like another puddle. And this electrical wire comes down. You see it zapping in the puddle, and then you kind of see it on the pavement, not so much because of, there's no, but another puddle. Oh, it's zapping over there. It kind of has to like its way across because there's that dry spot in the middle, right? If we have dry spots, if we're a quart low, if we haven't had enough liquid in our bodies, then that the brain waves and all the messages that are going to and fro, back and forth, and whatever, it's going to be like that wire that's in the puddle over here and in the puddle over here, but there's a dry spot in the middle. So it's like, sure, you'll still get a zap on the other end, absolutely. But if it was one big long, like a pool or something, if it fell in a pool or one continuous big puddle and you touched it, you would probably die. You would get a really big zap because the current now is not interrupted. It's like really quick. Okay. So if that makes sense, drop a yes down below. If what I'm saying is tracking with you, throw it in the comments there. All right. So also without enough water, and then of course all of these things are causing inflammation. Let me just and when we're talking about our cells, if you picture your cell, okay, good. Thanks, Myrna, for commenting. If you're thinking about your cells like an apple, if we cut that apple in half, right? Say you only want to eat half. You cut the other half, and you know what's going to happen if you leave that apple sitting on the counter, even for like an hour, right? You come back, it's starting to get brown already, and you're like, it doesn't look very appealing, and you kind of slice off the skinny part if you're going to eat the rest, right? You slice it off. If you left it like that, it's going to decay pretty quickly, right? Because that brown's just going to keep going. It's going to get soft and mushy and yucky, and then you're probably going to throw it out. Now, if you put lemon juice on that apple, you can come back an hour later, probably the next day. It's still probably white or pretty white. It might start to get a little beige, but it's definitely not like the other one, right? We all know that. We've all done that. Put the lemon juice on the apple. So what you're doing, so that's your cells. Inflammation causes your cells to like age quicker. So when we're doing things consciously to bring down that inflammation and balance our six plates, because all of balancing, addressing those six plates all target the inflammation. as well as filling our nutritional gaps and drinking the water and all the thing, all of those help to bring down the inflammation. So, AKA putting lemon juice on your cells. Okay. So, oh my goodness, I'm getting spam calls today. Anybody ever get all those spam calls coming to your phone? How annoying is that? Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. So without enough water, your systems slow down. So like I talked about the brainwave, well, your physical in your body, all your organs and systems slow down as well too. So waste lingers. What happens if waste lingers? Think about your garbage can. If you're too late for the garbage guy to come and you have to wait a whole other week, things start to decompose and smell pretty nasty, right? Okay, so what happens if waste is lingering in our bodies in different places? No wonder we would feel sluggish or headachy or snappy or grumpy or not sleep very well or have poor digestion because there's stuff stuck in there somewhere. Make sense, right? Also, your blood thickens. It's liquid. You need liquid to move it, right? So we need to hydrate. The lymphatic system gets sluggish. Your toxins recirculate, not something you want, because it's trying to extract more liquid that you're not putting in, right? It's like, okay, let's go through one more time. Maybe I missed something. Oh, let's go through one more time. Maybe I missed something. So it's recirculating toxins in your body, and then inflammation builds because it's running the garbage through again, basically. It'd be like you bringing the dirty garbage or the stinky garbage that you put out. Like today was garbage day at my house. If I missed it, it would be like me bringing it back in the house for another week. We don't want to do that, right? But then you start to feel it. So if you've already prone to joint pain, or maybe it starts joint pain, and you're like, why is that starting? More fatigue, more cravings, more puffiness, even more hot flashes. Okay. Cravings come because, like I said, it can give you a false hunger signal. So if your cells are not happy, it's going to keep trying to poke you and tell you all these different things in order to get what it needs. And water is life, right? And so it also we talked about hormones a few minutes ago. It's really affecting all of the symptoms that come with perimenopause and menopause. And ladies, we're always in menopause once you hit it. We're either in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. Forever, we're still there. Doesn't mean you have to live with all the symptoms. I am living proof of that. Trust me. So you're going to get maybe not more hot flashes, like maybe not, if you're having two a day, it's maybe not going to multiply and have greater numbers of hot flashes, but it might, but the intensity is definitely going to go up. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Okay, because it's not allowing your body's cooling system to work very well. Again, things are slower getting through because the blood has thickened, right? So everything's all connected. Drop connected down below in the chat if you're seeing what I'm talking about here. So when your system is dehydrated and inflamed, temperature regulation becomes erratic. So your internal thermostat can swing wildly. So it's like you're putting your thermostat in your house at one temperature and you have guests over and you run out to the yard for something or you go down to the store for something, you come back and they have mucked it. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're tracking with my analogies, Myrna. Thanks for that. I appreciate your feedback. So you go out for a few minutes, you come back in and they've changed your thermostat. And it's just, oh my goodness. And then no, you put it back. And then you go outside and your hubby's like, he's changing it. And you're like, no. Like so it's it's that dysregulation in your house is not very comfortable, right? And it's frustrating and you get like, what the heck is going on? Same thing as we don't have enough if we're quart low. That even mild dehydration can make your symptoms worse because your body is struggling to cool itself efficiently, like your car overheating when there's not enough fluid in the radiator, right? And this is the perfect time of year, perfect example for this. We need to have water, water, water everywhere. I'm just going to pause here for a second. What counts as water? I've had a lot of clients ask me that. Well, what counts as water? Does tea count as water? Does those bubblies count as water? Because there's 0 calories in them, right? Does what else have they asked me? How about coffee? What about decaf coffee? Because there's no caffeine in it. Water counts as water. Okay, water counts as water. You could squeak by with a little herbal tea and call that water as well because it's infused with natural flavors. Doesn't mean you can't put your own natural flavors in your water. You can put like mint and cucumber in your bottle of water. You can put some frozen berries in there. Um, you can put, like an orange wedge or a lime wedge or a lemon wedge or one of all three, to if you want to flavor your water. Darnice. Oh, okay. Is that the tea that you have, or do you put that spice in your water? I'm curious. So let me check that. Oh, in your water. Oh, okay, nice. I have not tried that. Okay, something different. Thanks for that. Um, so the other thing that we're not talking about, no one talks about really is the electrolyte balance. So when your body is dehydrated, your electrolytes get out of whack. So you could be drinking a ton of water, but not getting enough minerals. So the minerals that you need, that you'd find in electrolytes would be sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium as well. So that's another one. Because if you're finding you're getting muscle cramping or things like that, that could be a calcium or a magnesium or even a potassium. Okay. Now, the sodium, people say, oh, I shouldn't drink too much salt. And you'll notice that on our fit approach, we do say to remove the salt, right? However, there's a caveat to that. We don't want to remove all salt, but when we're eating our own natural whole foods, there is sodium in there. Now, if you are a person who works outside a lot, you're doing something where you're sweating a lot, um, or you naturally have low blood pressure, then you do need to add a little bit of salt. Use some pink Himalayans or some Redmond salt or some sea salt. Take a look at the label. I can't believe I have to say this. Salt is a single ingredient. It's a preservative in and of itself, correct? Yes? Yes or yes? I noticed one day, I have a pink Himalayan salt, is what I use, and I have a little, grinder because I have the rock salt, which I love. And so I was looking for the replacement salt, the rocks to put in it, right? And I would find the stuff that's already ground up, but I don't need that. I need the rocks. So I'm picking up all these containers. Some of them were the grinder as well too, and I don't need the grinder because I have the grinder. So I'm looking at all of these things, and as I'm picking it up, I noticed one of them had a list of ingredients, and I was like, why would there be a list of ingredients on salt? It's salt. It's one thing. So I started reading, and it had an anti-caking agent in it, and it had a preservative in it. I don't remember what it was called at the moment. I wish I had taken a screenshot of that label. But I was looking at this thing going, what is that? Now we have to read our salt. So my whole point in saying this is even the single ingredient things sometimes take a look at because sometimes we just don't know what's in it and we take it for granted, present company included. And label reading is my thing. Oh my gosh. So even I got bamboozled by that one. So yeah, so take a look, read those things and see because sometimes you'll be shocked. Like salt is a preservative. We don't need to add any preservative to a preservative. We've been using salt as a preservative like since the beginning of time, since the beginning of when they discovered salt, right? And we don't need an anti-caking agent in it. Just make sure you close the lid so that it doesn't get moisture in it when you're cooking. And if it gets a little clumpy, hit the container, right? You don't need an anti-caking agent. Plus, which if you're using a grinder, you won't get that because the rock salts are individual and they'll stick together. They don't stick together. And if it does, you're grinding them anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So there's all of these things that go in your food that you either don't know about, don't need, don't want, all of the above, right? And so taking a look, and sorry, it's a little bit of a tangent that I went on, but it kind of fit here. So again, it's not just about drinking water, about hydrating smarter. So starting with adding minerals back into your routine, either with real food, like I said, with the sea salt, the Himalayan salt, leafy greens, avocados, berries, bone broth, or with a targeted electrolyte support. So you can get some really great electrolytes out there. And then spacing your water throughout the day. That's the other thing. You know how we're balancing our blood sugar here. We're eating our PFCs every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. We're not eating this massive breakfast so that we can last all day and then eating a little dinner or a big dinner because we didn't eat in the middle of the day. We're not doing any of that, right? So why would we do the same with water? We won't. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. People do, but we shouldn't. space it out through the day. If you're someone who has trouble drinking enough water, I saw this great water bottle at the gym today. I see the best things at the gym. This guy, he had this water bottle. It was huge, actually. It was kind of almost like the size of a gallon milk jug, I guess. It looked like one of those mini, um, those blue containers that you plop on top of a water dispenser. It looked like, but mini, you know? So obviously it wasn't that big, but it had times of day. So you fill it up, and then it said 8 a.m., wake up, start drinking water. And then it went every 2 hours until every hour, every 2 hours up until about 8 or 9 p.m. in the evening. And so basically you're going to get down to the next little blurb each and every time. And when you're done, you would have consumed 4 liters of water. Yay! So whatever works for you, get a water bottle that you like. Some people like a straw. And here's a little thing. If you find you like one water bottle different than another, take a step back and think for a moment, why do I like that? There's probably a reason behind it, a sensory reason. We're very sensory oriented beings. If you're liking a straw and you like to slurp out the water, or one of those water bottles that has the little teeny spouts that you have to suck the water out, or like that, this action of sucking like this puts pressure on the jaw, and the muscles tighten, and that's actually a very calming mechanism for our brain. So that might be something that actually you prefer it. You don't know why you prefer it, but it calms you down. So thinking about those kinds of things. Other ones, people like the larger mouth ones, or they like the smaller mouth ones to drink out of. Yeah, so just thinking about that. But if you're one that likes the sucking and stuff, that might be something that you're doing that you don't normally think about. And so consider that, because if you notice that it calms you down, once you start thinking about it, you'll see what I mean. Then that would be the type of water bottle to continue using, because that's something that your body really loves and adapts to. So, optimize what your body is loving. So yeah, spacing your water throughout the day. Don't chug it. Once you're like, oh my gosh, it's 3 p.m. and I haven't had any water. Glug, 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 glug. I mean, still take a drink, obviously, but let's spread it out a bit. Okay. So like we started earlier, first thing in the morning, having that room temperature or warm water. You can even better add some lemon and a little of salt with it, like just a little something like that in a cup of water. That'll get you started and help to your body to hydrate first thing in the morning. And then your cells will be nice and grape instead of raisins. Be grape, remember, be grape. And think more water than any other fluid throughout the day, right? Than any other liquid. Water you're going to drink more of, and more often. So again, if you have trouble thinking about more often, get a fancy water bottle with the things on it. There's an app that you can. There's lots of apps. Just search the Google Play Store or the App Store, water apps, water tracking, or water accountability, whatever. You just Google a water one, they'll come up. And you can like water plants. Every time you have a drink, you click it, it'll water a plant, or you can just track how many glasses you've had, or it can give you little cheering motivational things, like whatever's going to help you remember. That's what you need to implement, because we have all this great technology and it's free. So let's use it. Um, so starting your day with the water before the coffee, sipping water during your meals, rather than like chug-a-lugging it right afterwards. That really helps with your digestion, reduces bloating. Oh, I talked about the salt, the squeeze of lemon. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. And like I said, if you're exercising, sweating, working outside, um, if you're, like I said at the beginning, if you're drinking lots of water and feeling you're not being hydrated, and you're still working on all these things as well too, you may need that targeted electrolyte support. And that doesn't mean you're going to need it forever. Okay, it just means that maybe you need a little bit of help right now, like to get going. And once your cells get plumped up again and they're absorbing, and you can continue to keep your water intake up so that you can keep them from going back to being raisins, then you may not need it anymore. But then you may want to consider, oh, when it gets summer again, it's super hot, I may want to have one of those just in case, like just to make sure my body's absorbing enough if I'm outside at the beach a lot, working outside in the garden, whatever. Okay. So if that makes sense, drop down below, be grape. Want to be grape, not a raisin. Um, Okay, just let me double check here. Oh, yeah, here was a good point. You want to be a grape. Yay, I'm high-fiving you, Myrna. That's fantastic. Way to go. So many of the symptoms women get that we think, oh, it's our hormones, it's menopause. It's actually a combination of inflammation and dehydration. Now, again, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Because again, certain things can be triggered, as we learned earlier, because of the drop in estrogen, but it can also be exacerbated by things that we're doing or not doing that are causing the inflammation, and then purposely not really drinking as much as we should, right? So the headaches, fatigue, constipation, sugar cravings, poor sleep, muscle cramps, irritability, um, brain fog, poor digestion, they often start with simply not having enough water. Okay, so good news, it's one of the fastest wins you can get just by increasing your water intake. So women in my programs are always shocked how quickly their energy improves, their puffiness goes down, cravings fade once you start strategically hydrating, right? You even sleep better because again, your body does all that work when you're sleeping. And if it takes water to perform any function, just makes sense that it's going to be easier. You're going to rest better if your body's not like slogging through this task without the right support, right? It's like putting all of your fluids in your car. You wouldn't go drive across the country if you didn't fill up with gas, check the oil, make sure you have all the washer fluid. You know, if your vehicle needs transmission fluid, like you'd top them all up, right? You'd probably get someone to take a look at it if you're going on a super long drive, or maybe have your husband or your neighbor, someone who's car savvy, make sure all the fluids are topped up before you go. Same with your body. It's your vehicle. You gotta fill it up. So if you want your metabolism to work, you want your gut to heal, good skin. That also comes out on the outside. You can't get good results on the outside if you're not putting stuff in that's going to help you on the inside. Um, and if you want your hormones to stop screaming at you and those hot flashes to like calm down, then hydration needs to become a non-negotiable because it's going to affect all the other things that you're doing, all the good things you're doing. It's going to either positively affect it or not so much, right? So, not just any water, the right kind at the right time with the right support. So, considering all your six plates, but again, like the six plates, if you heard me talk about this before, we don't have to throw them all up at once. So water's a pretty easy place to start just by, hey, oh my gosh, I'm only drinking 3 glasses of water a day. Okay, so today let's aim for 4. Okay. And then tomorrow, maybe 4 again. And then maybe, oh, you can squeak in a half again before bed. While you're brushing your teeth, you scoot down another half a glass of water. Okay, great. We're just thinking about it in that respect, thinking about maybe I can just add a glass with every meal. Okay. And you will totally get there, and it won't be like a huge tsunami, pun intended. So you don't need a cleanse or detox. You just need to start with a glass of water and help your body work with itself and not against it. Okay, so hopefully that shed a little light on the situation with the hydration and inflammation. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the portal. You can respond to today's email that invited you here. You can, if you're part of our Fit Lifer crew, you can absolutely direct message me. You know how to find me. And yeah, for those of you that were new and you're just like, hey, these are great, I want more of them, keep watching your emails because every Wednesday I go live with a new topic and we're going to continue on our topic of inflammation and how they're affecting all the six plates. So tune in next time because we're going to be talking about another one. All right. Have a great, wonderful Wednesday, everyone. Ciao. See you next time.